So this whole Rohitian, Viratian nonsense that we see, and you write something about someone. I write something about Rohit Sharma. Just last week, Rohit and I met at the BKC and we had a little bit of food together. So I wrote saying it was good to see Rohit and he looks lean, he looks fitter, and I left it at that. And the comments were like, oh, you will always say good things about Rohit, but not about Virat. Where the hell did Virat come into that post? That's where I feel social media trolling, and now you are an active part of social media, you respond to people. Do you think it's a problem?
I love the fact, I love these people, Bore, honestly, because I look at them every morning like, I love them because I look in the mirror and say, who are these guys, man? Who you really are? Because you must really have some agenda to be able to driving these sorts of narratives. I mean, truth be told, let me be very frank, and I don't want to name people in this, but this is some sort of a disease that's going on at this point of time, because a lot of times, I am an instanding player. I've played for a long time, and several of these opinions that come on social media through these fan armies have been heard by me before, firsthand. Like, there have been opinions in the past, like I've heard these opinions on a breakfast table or a lunch table, and those opinions are out through some other name. And I'm like, that's crazy, man. Either I'm listening to it or somebody is...
Are you telling me that the players themselves plant these opinions?
I'm not saying that, but it's scary. I'm saying, is there being espionage being done? So that's the only way these things come out. And then you're like, okay, see, look, transforming, I'm not saying that's what is happening, but I'm saying there is surely business schema involved in this, right? And because today every player himself is an entrepreneur, right? And pushing these opinions on the outside does surely push your brand value or your PR skills or whatever it is. And I'm all for that. Have your fan army, even put your opinions outside, no problems. But to talk ill of another cricketer is something that I would never do, and I would never venture or go down that path. And even, look, for me, where did all this begin, Boria? You've been in the media fraternity for a long time. Where did this all begin? When we started creating this whole narratives around players, and we started painting a very superhero sort of a culture, when we started painting a very cinematic culture, is when all this started. Who even talks about cricket? Nobody speaks about cricket. There was this crazy thing that happened some time ago where I was talking about, I put a Twitter thread on what Shubman was doing to get out in a certain fashion. Now, if I read that piece, it's a highly informative piece on what's happening. For me, it is the what, the why, and never the who. Because I am a servant of the game. I am a prisoner to the game. I don't care two hoots about who the person is. And very similarly, there started becoming a comparison, why only about Shubman or not somebody else? I am like, dude, do you even follow what I do? Do you even know that this is how I construct everything that I see? There has been something on Rachin, there has been something that I did on Sanju, there's been something that I've spoken about, even about Virat for that matter. The point here is, we took the game away from the essence or the centerpiece, and we made it about the who. And that's when the problem began. Recently, that 281 of Lakshman and the Great Eden Test centenary happened, and I saw a few, sorry, centenary is the wrong thing, I think it's celebration, 25 years, yeah. And there was somebody who wrote about how Lakshman was so under-celebrated, right? He was not celebrated enough. And why? Because when it came to Lakshman, it was about India's win and not about him. There are some fabulous innings that he's played, and they never made it about Lakshman the batter or the person, because he's just a simple person from Hyderabad. And there is not enough superhero value stories in that. And that's sad, you know. If Stephen Smith had been born in India, there might have been a lot more around the brand of antiques that he does. But you would never hear about somebody like Michael Bevan, right? For example, he was born in India. You would never make it about him. It's just under the radar, just his job. But as cricketers, when you're young, we were always taught to make the game as the prima facie. But now I'm worried that cricketers that are taking up the sport are making the brand as a prima facie value. And that's a bit of a question mark for me.
Just an extension to that, since you have been in that dressing room not a long while ago, do these talks trickle down to within the players as well? Like if I see a story of in a leading newspaper that Virat and Rohit are having a rift, or this player his family is being trolled because or abused because of certain fan base. Do players, when they meet, does it create a difference within the players? What do you think?
Look, I do not have bare thread evidence to talk about all these things, right? Like even when I said, there have been a couple of instances where I've seen people's opinions transpire into social media, and that's where I would put it. For all you know, it could transpire or trickle down. Maybe the player has spoken about it to 10 other people, and maybe somebody has taken it upon them to trickle it down to social media, and that's very understandable. But when I am reading something, right? I'm reading something on let's say on Twitter or something, and somebody has made a random post, and that has been a trend, or you get mentioned about 100 times, saying this player has a problem with this player, and that's why he's not playing. If I read it 10 times, as somebody who has a bit of grey hair, and also understands a little bit, and in your language overthinks, I will think, okay, maybe there is something here. And when I look at that player next day in the dressing room, I'll be thinking, okay, what are you thinking of me? And it's very natural, right? And people who do not have the maturity to say, okay, it's all done here. I need to just go and bowl, or I need to get my runs. And that's the only way I stay in the team. It's different. But if it's going to affect someone, and if it's going to make them overthink, it's going to happen, right? And it's only human psyche and nature for people to think like that.
Especially if you are an opening partner or a bowling partner, you are bowling from the different end, but you know the social media differences are there.
Look, I wouldn't take it that far. I learned to deal with this the way I knew how to deal with it. Like again, I'll go to the part of thinking, right? Why did I think? Because I knew nobody had my back. That's just my journey. And I keep on saying that because my journey is very dear to me. I made peace with the fact it's about me and it's about only me. Because I needed to be Ashwin +1 tomorrow if I needed to play for the Indian team. And I picked up the bat and the ball when I was 8 years old, wanting to be an Indian cricketer. Why the hell would I not turn every page in my book to want to be the best? And the day I decided that I couldn't, or I didn't have the motivation to be Ashwin +1 the next day, I quit the game. And that was me being honest to the game and being honest to myself. And that's where it ends. And nobody has the business, I want to avoid that word in between, to judge me for what I did or how I went about doing my business in the game. Because it's my journey and it's dear to me.
Tell me something. I mean, when I see your career, so many wins in red ball, so many series wins, are you worried about India's red ball cricket? Are you worried about the fact that we are producing these kind of wickets or whatever? Because when I see white ball, I feel, no, white ball, tremendous talent, the funnel is so good, etc. So two parts. You have made this point about the 50-over game. After 2027, when some people retire, Rohit, Virat, whatever, are you worried about that? And are you worried about India's red ball? If so, what are your solutions for red ball cricket?
Look, I think we spoke a lot about social media, and with all the fandom and the fan armies, I'm almost ready to know that people are going to have a spin on everything that I'm saying. But I want to take a couple of minutes to harp upon Rohit, and we're all young cricketers who matured over time, grew together literally. And there was a point in time where we played 10, 12 months of cricket together. Happened. But when these things are percolating outside, I find it very funny. The retirement of Virat, Rohit, or whoever, how many other people that went by, has had a lot of stories over the last 2 decades about how they've built their careers. You came in, you started performing, then there were doubts, then you had to counter those doubts, then you had to perform differently, win games for your country, then be dropped, then come back. Of course, with Virat, dropping didn't happen. With Rohit, it happened with me, with Pujara, it happened. But the constant desire to put India on a test cricketing map was never once mistaken. None of us had doubt about that. We wanted to be an amazingly good touring side, win across borders, do really well for the country. I'm a little concerned, like I said in the previous one, about this troubleshooting mechanism and hard-working, tough-working, I would say tough-working money. When you're playing test cricket, at the end of the day, you play 5 days, and that's when your bill is paid, right? You play 5 days to get across the board, across the line, and when your money is paid. I am worrying for those sort of cricketers to be able to come through the system. I do have a concern, and not even with the batting. I think batting will look to take care of itself. You spoke about white ball cricket. The pedigree of white ball batters that we are having in lineup is just something else. In fact, I have no doubt that India will go on to win quite a few white ball trophies over the next decade. That will be from our batting. But what next after Bumrah? When Bumrah is a defining point in that white ball side, what next after Bumrah? I'm worried bowling is not as attractive as batting is. And kids might not take up the sport for those reasons. And when I say sport, I think bowling and batting are separate sports. Bowling as a sport is not attractive enough. It looks like you're just doing yet another job where you are entertaining people by giving those sixes. So who really would want to think about bowling as something that will enable us to win tournaments or series?
Fantastic line, huh? Fantastic line. I mean, that's Ravichandran Ashwin.
But I was there in your academy in Chennai in 2023 World Cup, and I interacted with a few kids there, and they said that you are hands-on with them. Whenever you find time within your schedule, you try and go there and have that interaction. You are grooming the next gen cricketers, I can say that. Talking about Bumrah and linking that question to him, how do you think we can find the next Bumrah? Because, or the next Siraj, or the next Shami for that matter? Because building a pace battery, yes, you have a few bowlers who are working at the NCA, but at the same time to protect them and allow them to play freely in test format, how do you bring that culture in Indian cricket now?
Hard, yeah. I mean, it's one thing to put the blame squarely on players and say they're not playing all formats, they don't. It's just only natural. I'm giving you an option to play 3 months of cricket through the summer to earn your paycheck, vis-a-vis asking you to bowl 20 overs a day under the searing hot sun to be able to carry the torch forward for your nation.
1 lakh for player of the tournament in Ranji Trophy, 1 lakh for the catch in an IPL
Look,
match.
I think, to be honest with you, the BCCI has done a phenomenal job in terms of trying to revise the pay structure even at domestic level. You have, which country boasts of having so many first-class teams? Your question can be answered straight away. India will be much better than a lot of other countries in Test cricket because of the pure sample size of players. We've got so many players, and you will be able to continuously produce someone. If A is not there, B will come. B is not there, C will come. But the longevity of players is definitely going to get struck down. I have no doubts about it. And for me, every day, just giving you a few names, every day I look at someone like a Khalil Ahmed, right, who's playing for CSK this year. I think to myself, why the hell is this guy not opening our bowling in Test cricket in Australia or England? He must be, by all means, right? He's got everything going for him. Why wouldn't he do that? And you can ask such several questions of such players playing domestic cricket. And a lot of these cricketers playing Ranji Trophy, especially the fast bowlers, right? They get into a more... I love what BCCI did with splitting out red ball cricket this year. They split it up. One of the great reasons that I would recommend that forever is players can manage their injuries better. Fast bowlers from bowling 135, 140 come down to bowling 120s. Because it's just longevity for them. You play an entire first-class season. It gives you sustainability. It gives you food on your plate. Why would I bowl 140, risk myself for injuries, right? And the last part of the puzzle is to be able to create a red ball only contract for first-class cricketers. Don't mete out a contract for people who are playing Vijay Hazare and Syed Mushtaq Ali, because if you do that, there is anyway money coming through your state-sponsored T20 leagues. Then you've got the ability to play the IPL. So there is a lot more going for the white ball cricketers. Meet out contracts and make it mandatory for all 37 teams to give out contracts, 37 or 36, whatever. Forgive me, pardon my ignorance on the exact number, but give them contracts here. Give them central contracts. Make them, accountable to the state association, and go through and vet these contracts. In many ways, I think state cricket associations are extremely crucial in retaining the quality of your cricketers going forward. And some sort of methods and processes need to be put in place for even that.
Two-part question. One, you speak extremely well. You have pedigree. You are articulate. Why not choose commentary or anything like that? Rather shun that and get into digital media, create a niche. That was the tougher road. You've even called, we've had this discussion, by the way, we were sitting and having food in Paris when Ashwin calls and says, are you going to cover the next Asian Games and the next Olympic Games? And I'm like, yeah, what happened? He said, I'll also come with you and cover it. So to branch out into Olympic sport, for example, what prompted that? Or what prompted to set up your own digital platform and not get into conventional commentary? Number two, Shubhan just mentioned about your academy. You think the game, you're a servant of the game. Will you coach? Will you coach state teams? Will you want to coach the national team? Is that something that you will nurture over a period of time?
I don't know how coaching actually functions, how people look at it. See, there is this coaching certification program that people do undertake, right? I've seen coaching manuals every day. I mean, I've read coaching manuals in 2012. I've taken manuals. I have copies of manuals to go through it. You know why? I didn't start coaching now. I've been coaching since the day I was a player, a professional player. My academy started in 2012 officially. Before that, in 2010, I initiated my academy. The reason I coached was because it gave me great avenues to learn myself. Because sometimes a young child will ask you questions that will throw questions in your head. And you need to find solutions. So my solution-driven approach to my own game came from the fact that I was coaching. Teaching is one single profession that will take you to a point of excellence and it's a point of no return. Right? And even I've been training a child from his age of 7 from the COVID break. And I used to teach online, and I've continued to coach that guy, and he's 13 now. He's played some under 14 city cricket and all that. But the questions he used to ask really initiated some great questions in my head to be able to put it into use into my own game. So for me, coaching or coaching certification is not in a position at this point of time where it says, Boria, look, I have a very simple question to ask you. Have you ever seen math teachers from school or science teachers from school go on and have a progression into getting into any sort of scientific research or positions in the NASA?
No, it's about journalism also. You don't need to do sports journalism courses to come and be a sports journalist.
Exactly. But these teachers have gone through an entire process of studying in school, going to a college, and then doing their certification in teaching. Is that right? Have I got it right? Likewise, cricket coaching also needs to have a certain base, a base pedigree of saying, you need to have done so many years of coaching at a grassroots level, and then you need to have a certification, and then there must be a question. I don't think coaching certification courses have that sort of progression for anybody to go through the yards. Sure, I think when it comes to, let's say, a Gautam or when it comes to a Ravi Bhai, their experience of having played the game at an elite level is good enough for them to be able to manage a team at an elite level.
So you have that as well. That's why my question. Would you want to do that? Would you want to give it back in that way, or are you going to be in the media space?
Honestly speaking, I do things that are leading me to happiness. You asked, the second part of the question is where my answer lies. You asked me why I did it through the digital. I might end up doing commentary, but again, on my terms is what I would like to reiterate. It's very easy for me to throw my hand up and say, we've made it about celebrities and not made it about the game itself, right? I have also said that. But what do I do about it? My small little bit of doing it on digital media or social media is talking about the game and not talking about the person. I try and, in my own little space, try and educate people about the game and not about the person. I am not giving you clickbaity. Look, I read after India won the T20 World Cup, right? I would have loved to read and see pieces on how they chiseled that World Cup down over the last 12 months. When Abhishek Sharma has been going on all guns blazing for the last 18 months, we had it in us to talk about him being left out of the side in this World Cup, right? We all did that. And why are we doing it? Because it's about people, right? We are talking about the who. We want Sanju Samson to get into the side, or X or Y or Z to get into the side, such that we made no bones of a player who's been on blazing form for the last 18 months. And in fact, we made him double guess his own thoughts, his own skills. We are doing it without our own knowledge because it's going to reach Abhishek Sharma. The reason he became tentative was because he knows there is noise around it. Now, if we spoke only about why Abhishek Sharma is not scoring those runs, he himself might have picked up on something and done something amazing in that World Cup. But eventually he got a 50 in the final. Very happy for him. So my little bit is why I have started my YouTube channel and continue to do so. When I go to bed, I'm at least happy that I've done something meaningful for the game that's given me everything.